Yo, what's good? I'm guessing if you're watching this video, you're either a coach, creator, or consultant who is either trying to start their own info offer or can't scale it further than where you're currently at. So in this video, I'm going to break down the exact same systems that I use to generate 61,000 in revenue, right? You probably think that you need a massive following, decades of experience, insane testimonials, or some crazy unique method, right? And you don't. You don't need a massive following and you don't need decades of experience. The testimonials, again, you don't need them. What you can just use instead of testimonials is your own personal wins and stories. So let's say, for example, you're a dropshipper, you're doing content about dropshipping and you want to start a dropshipping offer. All you would have to do is just use your own Shopify dashboard screenshots and things like that, right? Decades of experience, you don't need decades. You just need a good knowledge, good enough to teach somebody and not fucking scam them, pretty much, right? And again, massive following. If you have 2 followers and one of them's your mum, not gonna work, right? But I mean, the launch where we did 61k, the coach I was working with only had 2k subs, right? You do not need a massive following. You can get away with like ideally 5k on YouTube and like even 1k on YouTube is fine, right? What matters is the content that you post. That's it, and the sales systems that you have in place as well, right? So like I say, yeah, you need good content that targets your ICP clearly, right? So let's say, for example, so that doesn't mean do vlogs, try go viral, do loads of content strictly for virality. You want to do content that is niche specific to your ICP. It needs to hit pain points, right? People buy solutions. It's as simple as that, right? If you're doing vlogs as content to try and get people to buy your info offer, like that's great. It sells the lifestyle and whatnot. But I mean, if I was a consumer who just watches vlogs all day, I'm gonna go watch Brez or someone like that, right? Because they've got more subs, they've got more money to play around with in the videos and things like that. So if your aim is to sell info through your content, it needs to be niche specific, right? And we'll get into like the content in a bit. But yeah, like I said, no generic bullshit, no fucking TikTok dances. This is shit, right? Don't be fucking doing any stupid bullshit like this, right? But yeah, it all starts with content, right? So in terms of content, you've got 3 main types. So you've got top of funnel, which is for awareness. So that's your vlogs, fucking TikTok dances, all that bullshit, right? It's strictly just for awareness, yeah. Middle of funnel, that's content like this, where it's specific towards a specific set of people and it's informative. So this builds up authority. So let's say, for example, you're a trader, right? So an example of middle of funnel content for a trader would be specifically talking about like going over your specific trades or going over what indicators to use on TradingView if you're going to trade gold, right? You know what I mean? These are things that only traders would watch. Whereas top of funnel content is content that anyone can really watch, right? The aim with this is to you bring people in and entice them with top of funnel, get them interested with the lifestyle, then you sell them on how you have that lifestyle, which is the theory, which is middle of funnel. And then bottom of funnel, this is for strictly conversions. So this is things like case studies, testimonials, wins, story posts, things like that. That's bottom of funnel. So top of funnel, you get them aware of yourself. You bring them into the middle, which is where you actually explain and teach them how to do what it is that you do. And then bottom of funnel is strictly, like I say, just for client testimonials, things like that. These, the point of bottom of funnel is literally, right, someone's about to buy, they're actually doing the business model. You just need to give them a little push. That's it. So they're the 3 main content types. And what I would actually suggest is if you're starting out, you've got like 1k subs on YouTube and you're doing trading content, trying to get someone in on your trading offer, fuck this off. Just fuck it off completely. Fuck top of funnel. Doesn't matter. Don't need it. Just do middle of funnel, right? Top of funnel, you're competing with people, the biggest traders in the space, you know, fucking TGR, everyone who is a trading creator. I mean, he does like more streams and stuff, but still top of funnel, right? Fuck it completely off. You don't need to be doing top of funnel. You do it when you get bigger, right? That's kind of how I see it. In a way, I kind of would. rather have it like that. So middle of funnel, then you do top of funnel when you're a bit bigger, because you're trying to scale the offer more and you're trying to sell to more generic people. But when you start off, it should be niche specific, and you should do middle of funnel content. And the reason, again, like I said, it needs to be niche specific, because if you are solving problems for them on your YouTube videos, they're going to think, holy shit, this guy's fucking sick. What's actually inside of his offer? If he's just solved what indicators I need to use to trade gold, I wonder what source is hidden behind a paywall. You know what I mean? So yeah, so once you've started making this content, posting informative reels and really good long form, and again, like if you're like, oh, I don't know how to fucking I don't know how to script these videos, I don't know how to make them, there's a Calendly link in the description, click that and I'll just fucking do it for you. You know what I mean? So there's no excuses, right? Once you've obviously started off your content, you need to send them somewhere. So it's going to be to an email list. To begin with, it's going to be an email list. And what's the point of this email list? Is to nurture them, right? So we're going to do that by providing them value, social proof, case studies, and personal stories on the email list. And how do we actually get people on the email list? Again, you're going to use your content, right? So YouTube, an example of how we would do it with YouTube is simply a link in the description saying subscribe to my newsletter. Alternatively, we're going to set up on Instagram ManyChat automation. So what this does is once they DM you a keyword, it will trigger the workflow, which will then send them the lead magnet or whatever it may be, or ask them for their email, right? Email, fucking whatever, it doesn't matter, right? So anyway, let's say for example you do a reel where, again, using trading as an example, you're talking about your trading journal. You could say, DM me journal and I'll send you over my free journal, right? They DM you journal, which triggers the ManyChat automation. The ManyChat then asks for their email to send them the free lead magnet, and then there you fucking go, right? They're on our email list. And YouTube, do the same shit again, right? Just if you're doing something on YouTube like this one, for example, I could be like, oh, and if you want this exact fucking email strategy, DM me on Instagram email, you know what I mean? And then it's, again, triggers the flow, boom. Another little thing as well, when using lead magnets, the ManyChat can continue to have a conversation with them. And if it gets to a point where they're having a good back and forth, we can then pass it off to a DM setter, right? But more on that in a minute. So, yeah, email list is set up. Fucking sick. We've got some leads on there now. Not super, it doesn't fucking matter at the moment because we're just, again, nurturing them, with the point being to sell them, to try and sell them in the future. But for now, aim is to just nurture them, right? Now, we need to start creating our offer. First step of that, number one, is the market research, right? So there's two main parts of market research that we need to get, right? We need to get competitors' offers and find exactly what it is that they're doing. So that is price. So we need to find out the price, sales systems, right? What funnels they're running. Yeah, funnels. I'm not going to fucking write the whole thing out, but funnels. So price, sales systems, what funnels are running, what type of content they're doing. Can we replicate it? Can we change it? What can we take from them and use it ourselves, right? So to find these out, it's pretty fucking simple. We just go to them. One, watch the content to see what the content's doing, or take the transcripts, put it in AI. So there's two fucking ways to do that. And then actually click their links in the bios. Actually follow through with their CTAs. Go on their email list. Go on, even fucking take the setting call. You know what I mean? So there'll be like a link in their bio for you to like apply or whatever. Apply, and then a setter will call you. Fucking speak to the setter and start writing shit down. I mean, I wouldn't get booked onto the sales call because it's going to just be a waste of everyone's time. But I mean, if you game enough, like, just fucking do it. You know what I mean? Who gives a fuck? Then number two, which is kind of how we start creating our own offer, we need to find our audience's pain point, right? Now, anyone can just go make a trading offer. Who knows how to trade? But to make an offer that really sells that solution, like we said before, we need to find our audience's pain points. So one way to do that is we're going to go back to the email list we built in step one, and we're going to offer 5 free, so it's completely for free, one-to-one calls, yeah? Only do like maybe 30 to 45 minutes, yeah? Preferably 45. And on this 45-minute free call that you're offering to only 5 people, you're going to, one, be kind of giving them a little bit of coaching, kind of seeing where they're at. But the main thing that we need to do is, one, see where they're at, right, with their trading journey. So see where they're actually at. And two, the main one, what is it that they're struggling with, right? So we need to know exactly where they're at with the trading, how long they've been doing it, and what they're struggling with. Because these 5 people are essentially going to be like the spokespeople for your offer, very much. Spokespeople for your audience. If all 5 people are brand new to trading and keep low and funded accounts, then we know that the majority of your audience, is probably brand new to trading and is blown accounts. So then what do we make content about? We make content about, obviously, how to get into training for beginners and things like that, right? So that's one way to find the pain point. Another way would simply just be IG story sequences, right? So we're going to set it up. Literally, you've probably seen these before. It'll just be like a poll with 4 potential answers, right? And, it'd be something like, what are you struggling with the most in your trading? Or what are you struggling the most with in your dropshipping, whatever the fuck it might be, right? Let's say it's dropshipping and someone's like, oh, my biggest struggle is actually finding products to sell. So everyone ticks this one, right? Again, now we know what people are struggling with the most in our audience. So if we were running a dropshipping offer, and this was dropshipping again, remember, and everyone ticks finding products, we make one of the main points of our offer, we will help you find the products, right? That's like one of the main things that we will help you with. And if everybody in your audience is specifically struggling with that one issue, who are they going to buy it from? They already know who you are, they're already in your email list, they're already following you, they're already subscribing, they've already probably watched your YouTube videos. Makes sense for them to buy from you, right? And that's different than just going and buying from a dropshipping offer, right? Because this dropshipping offer might not specifically be teaching what it is that they want to know. It probably is, but it's not saying it in plain text like we are, which is why it's so important to find that. Without that, we don't have a fucking offer, in my opinion. Now, using that, we're going to craft the offer. We need to make sure the offer has a tangible outcome, so it actually is going to get them from A to Z. It's not just going to teach you how to dropship and that's it. We will teach you how to dropship so that you can achieve or make X. You know what I mean? We'll make sure that there's a specific outcome to the program. It needs to solve the audience's pain point. Pretty fucking simple considering we know what it is. And then make sure it's worth the price. And again, that's where this sort of market research comes in, right? The competitor analysis. If they're charging like 2K and we're doing less and charging 5, it's not worth it, right? So that's kind of the best way to do that, right? So once we've done this, we've crafted the offer. We then have to do the pre-launch content ramp up, right? This is where we go hard on content pre-launch so that we nurture people enough and then we drop the fucking launch, okay? Obviously, in this time between here and here, we'll have built a landing page, set up all the automations, hired the sales team as well, everything like that. So all that will be good to go. We'll have set up the payment processes. So all this stuff will be good to go because the pre-launch content ramp up is where we are going, like I said, we are going to go mental on the content and try and sell them throughout it, right? So obviously all this stuff here, again, is fucking super simple and easy to do, essentially. You'll see kind of what your competitors are doing in terms of what automations they've got running, what landing page looks like, things like that, and then kind of replicate it, / also make it better for your offer. But again, if this is something that you guys don't know how to do or are going to struggle to do it, there's a Calendly link in the description, right? So, for the first 7 to 14 days, there's going to be a daily push of niche and pain-specific content on YouTube. Long form this is, right? So this is content that hits every single one of these 4 pain points. Every single pain point that gets touched on these calls will be getting mentioned and getting a video. And the main pain point will be the main focus of this content, right? And then you've got a 7-day story sequence, which is leading up to the launch. So again, for the first 5 days, and it's the same with emails, right? I kind of do the same thing with emails. Story sequence is not so much. There's a lot more CTAs in there. But for the emails, what I'll do is I'll do 5 days of no call to action, strictly value, yeah? Oh, shit, sorry. Strictly value, right? SV, right? Nothing else. Strictly value, maybe some case studies, personal stories, things like that, social proof, right? Day 6 is gonna be the first time we mention the CTA, and it's gonna be like a first push, letting people book onto a call, right? Obviously, also dropping some crazy fucking value on the 6th day, right? The 7th day, so the last day of this 7-day email sequence, is going to be the hard push on the content, right? Hard push on the content. So that's like, only 2 spots available, or calls booking up quick, like a real push to the CTA, as well as your personal story. So how you got started in trading, how you got started in dropshipping, how you're a fucking loser working at McDonald's, now you've got all the bitches and you're chilling in Dubai. You know what I mean? And you can do it too. All you got to do is book in. Only 2 spots left. You see how that that's kind of how the last 7-day will work, right? So yeah, all of this is pushing them to that landing page that I mentioned earlier, right? So for this example, it's going to be a VSL page. It's the most common. You've probably seen these all over. So what this would be is it would be a video sales letter here, which is you explaining the offer, what they're going to be getting, or it's a free training, right? Free training video. Depends how you want to do it. Free training does work really well. It just takes a little bit longer to set up because obviously we need to record and set out a full free training because it needs to be valuable or no one's going to buy the fucking proper course, right? And the title needs to be plain as fucking day with exactly what we're going to do. I will help you do X in Y amount of time, right? We're giving them an output. We're telling them exactly what we're going to do, and we're going to tell them how long it's going to take us to do it. So we will help you get your first funded account in 120 days, or we will help you run your first profitable Shopify store in 3 months. You know what I mean? It's that sort of thing. Next is the type form. So this is like how they apply. And it asks them just some like soft qualifying questions like where you're from, how much you have to invest, and what's holding you back the most. In terms of this, we already know what's holding them back the most because we've done that market research later. But it's good to know specifically what it is that's holding them back. This just makes the setter, when he dials them, he can speak to them and it can be a lot more personal because he can specifically be hitting his pain points, which will be easier for him to get him set on that call, right? The only one that really matters is how much do they have to invest, right? It doesn't matter because if they come in and they put on the form, I have $200 ready to go, no fucking good to us, you know what I mean? That's a low ticket offer. We're not running low ticket, high ticket, so like 3K minimum, you know what I mean? And then where they're from, again, doesn't really matter. Like I said, as long as they have the money to invest and they actually are like someone that we can help. If it's someone who's like a master trader buying a beginning trading course, they're going to just feel ripped off. So we don't want to sell to those guys either, right? But even if they don't have the right amount to invest, we'll still send them to the setter, still get the setter to dial them. A lot of people don't do this, but it's just worth doing because they can continue to nurture them. And actually reaching out to them and speaking to someone physically who's going to maybe send you a free resource, whatever, they definitely come back. I mean, it happened when I was setting, that's what I used to do. So even if someone didn't have the money, I'd still ring them and send them over a free resource. They would maybe check it every so often, like just to help them get started. But yeah, so once they've applied as well, we're going to have like case studies. Again, like I said at the beginning, if you don't have case studies, this will just be your story and your personal wins. But yeah, as soon as they apply, this is what kind of is the beginning of that sales flow. So remember the ManyChat from earlier? We're going to be sending out lead magnets and content, pushing to like DM on Instagram, and then ManyChat takes over, just like I mentioned before. If it's having a good conversation, a DM setter will take over and then try and get them on the phone. So from the application, it'll have their phone number in for the DM setter to call. Once he calls them, his job is to qualify, not to sell them or even really talk about the offer. His job is to ring them, see what it is that they need help with, see how financially qualified they are to pay for the course, and how ready they are to pay for the course. If they're ready to pay, they have the money to pay and are serious about it, they get booked onto a call, right? If they aren't, they get disqualified, and they get pushed to a downsell or further nurtured for future purchases. Like I was mentioning to you before, we don't just because they only have $200, we don't just fucking leave them because they have buying intent. They just don't have the money. We just nurture them until they have buying intent, and then get them back called and on the call, right? So yeah, if they're qualified, they get booked on with the closer. The setter will then add them to a group chat with the closer. So this is, again, you'll fucking never guess what, it's to nurture them, answer any questions they might have pre-call, and to send them a free resource which only gets sent to people who've made it this far, right? So it'll be like an unlisted YouTube video, podcast, whatever it might be, that only the people on this call will get access to. That is it. And as well, yeah, any questions that they have, the closer or setter can answer them. As well, moving on to the next bit, we'll be sending email reminders. We'll also be sending SMS reminders and reminders in the WhatsApp group, right? Which will be the setter messaging 2 hours before saying, can you watch this mandatory pre-call video? The mandatory pre-call video just answers any questions that they may have. It also tells them things like make sure you're in a quiet place, make sure you're ready for the call, make sure you have your camera on and things like that. And so they'll get sent that and it'll say just reply with confirm to lock in your spot. If they don't reply with confirm within that 2 hours, an hour before the call, the setter will call them. If they don't answer, call gets cancelled, right? We don't want to be wasting the closer's times. As well as that, we'll rerun 2 separate pre-call email sequences. So one is just a GHL, just a reminder one, like calls in an hour, calls in 24 hours, calls in 2 hours, calls in 30 minutes, things like that. And the second one is a kit, and this is a heavy, up to even 6 emails a day of pure nurture, pre-selling, and handling objections, right, that they may have, right, things like that. So that's the point of these 2 email sequences. Then they actually have the sales call, right? This is the last part. So this goes one of 3 ways. They either not closed, they close, or they don't show, right? If they close, they get onboarded automatically. I have a system for this. So as soon as the setter sends a payment link, they'll get an email with the contract. Once that contract gets signed, that triggers the end automation to then set up their Notion client portal. Once this is set up, they'll get access to book a call with you, and then that is all you'll have to do. That's literally it. You just have to take a call with them. That's it, right? That is it. So this is all set up free for them, and also like any sort of like Discord, like one-on-one support chats, things like that. They'll all get set up as well as the Notion. Depends how you want to run your offer. Some people do WhatsApp, some people do Discord. Discord's the one I like to use anyway. Yeah, so if not closed, again, 3 kind of options. If it's that they don't have the money, which they definitely should have, or the setter shouldn't have booked them, but things happen. The tyre might went on the car, so you need to go get a new one. We'll aim for a deposit, and then we'll schedule the next meeting to collect the rest of the cash, which will be the minimum amount that we need to get things started. Right then and there, we'll make sure it gets scheduled, and that call gets followed up again by the setters and closers, right? And then after that, they get added to a post-call flow. If they don't sell, we'll follow up with them twice, and then add them to the flow if nothing comes of it. And then if it's a no close, which happens obviously, right? People don't close. It is what it is. But the setter's job is to kind of make sure that he's only booking people on who are going to close. That being said, there's no such thing as 100% sale rate, right? And then obviously, yeah, if they don't close, they get added to the post-call flow, right? If they no-show, so this really fucking shouldn't be happening, because the setter is checking in with them 2 hours and 1 hour before the call, 24 hours before the call. They're getting emails. If they flake, we should know about it. It should be getting cancelled. No way should they respond to the message and then not get on that call, That shouldn't be happening. They'll be getting email, WhatsApp, SMS to reschedule, but it's not like just a casual, like, oh, you missed the call. It's we're sending the hellhounds, right? And their aim, which is the setters, by the way, is to get them back on that call, right? But yeah, some people get scared and just flake last second. It happens, but they shouldn't be like responding to the text and then flaking. It's just fucking gay as fuck. But yeah, so that's the end of the sales process. But if you've got an audience and a skill, you just don't have the time to monetize it, or you've tried and you are needing help scaling it, I will run your entire offer, right? Using the exact same systems that I've just shown you here, right? So that includes the sales systems and the revenue systems. So that's setting up setter and closer scripts, also hiring the setters and managing them and closers, the post-booking nurture flow, sales call frameworks, and a full launch playbook. Done for you funnel building, email and SMS automations built in, right, to your funnel, tagging pipeline and basic dashboards so that you can see your leads, calls, sales. You can see literally everything, right? Cash collected, everything. Content, traffic, and ads. So that's the entire content planning, your CTA strategy, your ad creatives, your quick post story sequences, essentially my entire creative directory. You'll be getting access to everything because we'll be working as a partnership on this, right? So if that sounds interesting and you just want me to run through an audit of your business to see if you are someone that I think I can help generate more money for, there'll be a Calendly link in the description. Just click on there and book a call.